So here we are, set it back up again and start again. Interval 9. So we have 3 more levels to do, as far as I know. 3 more intervals. And I intend to get in there. Oh, I haven't changed my game type on. Need to change that. It's coming up Anthem instead of Fear. I'm in the wrong category. Let's double check it. We're in the right category now. Right. Let's start doing that. Still in the wrong category. That's the wrong one. First Encounter Assault Recon. No, doesn't come up. So Fear. Finds it very difficult to understand this here because the way it's worded. First. No. F dot E dot A dot R. Come up that way? No. Fear. Fearless. There's a lot of fears. Fear 2. Fear them. Fears is Z. Oh, there it is. Got it. Right. I'm in the right category now. Right. Get my armbands on. Yeah. Wristbands. See what we can get done here. Right, so the last time we got up to was opening the vault. I think I got it open, as far as I know. Again, shout out to Crunchyroll as what I'm promoting at the minute. It's enabled for rewards. Drops for Smite should be on. I don't think any other drops on. Path of Exile is not on. Paladins isn't on. Payday isn't on. None of them other ones. I need to get another one. So anyway, Smites are was in the wrong category. Changed it to the right category in Twitch, and I've got my title changed. So here we are. Let's get stuck in there. I have to change the audio to on restream to in-game because it doesn't allow me to have two unless I pay for the Pro.
Alma's still in there. She has to be. You gotta find her before ADC decides to get rid of the evidence. destroy this facility before he lets her out. There are 4 pylons. Damage the reactor cells, and you'll trigger a chain reaction. Blow the whole place to hell, where it belongs. If he lets Mama out, you have to stop him. I'm losing your signal. We may be out of contact from here on. Be careful of this Wade guy. God only knows what he's capable of. You still don't know, do you? What you are. Why you're here. What's the first thing you remember? What's your given name? Where were you born? You have no history. You and I were born from the same mother. You must have sensed it. She cannot see in your mind, but perhaps you can see into hers. A life of waking from one nightmare, only to find herself deep in another. I will set her free. life. It was Disler who realized she was telepathic. He speculated that she was extremely sensitive to the negative emotions of people around her. We removed her from that chamber only twice. She was 15 when the first prototype was born. She was supposed to be comatose, but she started screaming when we induced labor and didn't stop until the liquid filled her lungs. There are plausible scientific explanations for everything that followed, but I think it was really just a question of hatred. It is the way of men to make monsters, and it is the nature of monsters to destroy their makers.
System analysis commenced.
They want to destroy her, but I think she's suffered enough. We put her in there 2 days before her 8th birthday.
No life signs detected.
She died 6 days after we pulled the plug.
Release sequence complete.
This is how it ends. Ah!
the line. I just picked up his signal. If you can hear me, get to high ground. A chopper is standing by.
I've tried to forget. I've tried so hard to forget. You were born here, in this place. I was there. I've tried to forget. I've tried so hard to forget. You were born here, in this place. I was there.
You will be a god among men. Take her back to the vault.
in.
I don't know how you live through that. We still don't know the extent of the damage.
We haven't been able to get through to anyone since the explosion. What was that sound?
Mic working, yeah. So that was interesting. I didn't expect to be finishing it that quick. Maybe I can jump over to Anthem now. Or Warframe. I'm feeling Anthem, so I am, because I only paid for a month for Game Pass. I got it for £1 for a month. So you should get in there. I'm always promoting about Xbox as well. But I'm sure everybody is. I got lucky. No, it's 14 days actually, not a month. I get to play Anthem for. But I do not recommend it. I'm glad I got the slating, as I say. I'm glad people didn't like it. I'm glad it didn't get finished. I'm glad it's all a load of shit. But the game's good. The game is Anthem is actually a good game. That's the shame about it. That's the shame. Like, I liked the movement and all, and the stuff, what was going on. I enjoyed it so far. But we'll see how long it takes before I get bored with it too. Warframe is my forever game. I'm not going to be bored of it. Well, when I say not bored, I'm not going to be not playing it at any point. I'm going to keep on keeping on with it, collecting resources, playing the expansions or whatever they all want to call them, and general missions. I'm waiting to see if this has anything after it, after the credits here. Just wondering what one's going to be next out of the Xbox 360 games. That Fear, at the end there, I actually was more enthralled in it than at the start. Getting up to that stage, they had to take me through the story, the epilogue to get there, and it's understandable. My review on it, I haven't wrote anything bad down about it. The ending, the way it jumps back and forth, it looks like you're in a dream. And I lost all the weapons when I went into the vault, and I was raging about that because I had the shotgun and plenty of ammo and all that stuff. Again, I thought it was a letdown in having enough ammo. I had to sort of conserve at the same time and keep an eye on what I had. They did give me the pistol. There was plenty of health packs after that. I would like to play Fear 2 and the rest of them. I would like to. I'm going to have a look for them, but I don't know when. I'm going to have to add the rest to my venture list on Rank 1 Global to see what I have to collect, what games I have to get. I think there's 3 or 4 other games with Fear. And I'm the Hounds of the Compass stuff and all. Me stuff if it changes names and hands and all, and then the message from the original gets diluted because of other people adding in and trying to make it. It says that they're in memory of, I don't know if that's or what. Maybe it's just one other. See now. Mysterious rabbit hole on Reddit. So there's fandom. Fandom has Winchie Lee, who was Winchie Lee in Fear 1, was dedicated to her, but I can't seem to find anything on Wiki or anywhere else for that matter. I've read China wanted a large army from the 1960s, and they took young girls from various villages to experiment on accelerating the pregnancy process. But one of them escaped to the hospital and died thereafter, signing under the name of Winchie Lee. No, what? This does not sound plausible, somebody else says. The purpose of the facility was not to raise an army or accelerate pregnancy. To all those. Are you kidding me? Is this for real? It could seem plausible because we have seen people try to play God before. That's on fandom. Hold on. I have to share screen. Can I get another screen on? Unable to access camera. Wrong one. Screen share. There's fandom. Right, so I'm gonna add screen share. Okay. There's screen share. I need to put me above that. There. So hide, replace. So on here, this is what it says on Fandom Fear Wiki. Okay. On this one. So does it show you this one when or does it just stay on that screen? Right, change that back over. Search screen. So window, entire screen. Right. So I'm going to share this whole screen, okay? Right, there's my. So we're on this one, and it says dedicated to her, right? But then a fandom user says, writes this about it in the 1960s. What I just read out. Then it says the purpose of the facility was not to raise an army or accelerate pregnancy, and then it says this word. But I don't know whether that's true. So I'm going to go over to Reddit, obviously, and see what Reddit says. Aren't they credits? No, it might just say the same thing. Dedicated is how little information there is. This person, there's a rumor that leads to that name, some sort of pseudonym for the developer or financer. But then there's also an urban legend. Now this is all words. This is just all words. It says the same thing here. There was an ending there with a phone call of the first attack on the facility, and they're saying it was a success. But it was a woman speaking, and not phone contacting a man, a male voice. Recruit by more soldiers by taking. This whole rabbit hole isn't nothing new and been going for years and not much success. For it to have any plausibility, though, the creators would need to call, speak it out. So this was made in 2006, 2007, I think, this game. So there's, you get the options of doing each one. You get a leaderboard, start multiplayer game or set multiplayer options. Select a mission and bonus mission. I don't think I'll be doing any more of this. I'll spend time on it. I'll leave it up to anybody else who wants the game. I'll add them. I'm going to add them into my rank 1. And I'm going to, at some point, play them in the future. Not that it matters. Or just that I like the game is pretty good for a first-person shooter. Storyline was great. That's all I'm pointing out. The paranormal stuff. See, that's what we're reading here about the paranormal stuff, or about the girls and stuff. I don't believe anything is wrote by somebody else. The developers need to tell me themselves. Here's the exact part of the credits, right, on YouTube about this. I've been wondering almost 2 decades. Such a good mystery to be solved. After searching this name on Google, I found commenters on Reddit, Steam, GameSpot, and other video game websites speculating about who she was. And it links to You'll Heard the Urban Legend and the Steam community discussions. I kept coming across variations of the creepy story about how in the 1960s in China there was certain things that was going on there, yeah, and they're talking about it. This urban legend closely follows the story of fear. How would okay, the main character Alma Wade, a girl with psychic powers who was experimented on during this time by a corporation, give the psychic individuals on the website on fandom. I was thinking was probably the developer who passed away before the game was released, but Moby Games and IMDb don't seem to offer any definitive proof. And this is Moby Games and IMDb. It looks like she the was mystery has been discussed among Spanish-speaking gamers, as well as searching for the name. Will show the earliest discussion I could find was on NetGamers in 2005. People do a lot of stuff, and when we're here, if if when I say they get away with it, they can do it, and no one will do anything about it. We'll do it. Human beings will do it, and that's what I don't doubt about this. What I'm doubting is how did they create the game, and when they created this game, where did they get that information from? If it's true, you know, dedicated to a name, Win Chi Lee, yeah, doesn't really give you very much to work off. And then putting a backstory like that and putting no information on fandom is asking for people to go down a rabbit hole. It's tempting. I look at a lot of that stuff and it doesn't most of the time it doesn't lead anywhere. It leads to your own mind thinking about stuff that doesn't matter and gets you nowhere. Reddit is not an informative website in any shape or form. A government website is definitely not any informative in any shape or form. One thing I learned when it came to those guys, the government stuff, is the 411. People mention something and say that there's something that very vague. They'll go, they fell down a hole, and they'll leave it at that, or they just got themselves lost, and that's it'll be left like that, and no one else will care or do anything about it. There'll be lots of people looking for them or trying to solve the mystery or the dead, whatever it is, but their information will never get out. You'll never hear about it, and it's just left like that. So something like this here facility and this backstory of fear of the game, so some private company doing this, could have happened, but nothing will ever be done. It could still be going on to this day, and a lot of conspiracy stuff is as it said, it is what it is. It's hidden behind closed doors for a reason, and it's hidden behind words like this and stories and things, I guess, here on purpose to keep people out, to stop people from looking. There's nothing in this. I'll be taking this game is a game, and that's it. I would love to dig deep, but I'm not going to. I'm not going any further than playing this game. I will get the other games, and that will be it. I'll find out the story, and as I said, the key feature here is if if the developers is the same developers from the first one. So, as I said at the start, I can't pronounce them. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce them properly, but it was Sierra. Is it Syria, Havoc, Bink Video, and Monolith? If they're the same developers the whole way through the whole series of the games, I will be questioning how did they get this story, and or was it just made up by the developers as a backstory for the game? You know, if something like that was true, which a lot of things did go on, like a lot of things have went on in history, and the reason that it's hidden is because the reason it's hidden is for that very reason, that stay hidden. Human race don't like the fact that you find out about for it's make a pick out one of them from the hat from the one of the conspiracies that um we just paid off the World War II debt in 2020, and the whole world just paid off a big debt to America or wherever it is, and then coincidentally they're paying out for warp speed. They're taking a loan out for warp speed. That's the type of stuff that goes on behind closed doors. And warp speed for what? Why label it? Who labeled it warp speed? This is exactly what this is about. No one's going to know, and no one's going to want you to know. And when you do find out if any of it's true, the whole point is you disappear. For all we know, if that was true, that's again make a theory up that any of that's true, that psychic beings exist and they're doing all this here and they're controlling them or whatever they're doing. They could be running the show. That's the is literally what the possibility of it is. I'm not sitting here going, it's great to know if there's, or another one would be like the aliens run the world and all. You find 8 foot aliens or whatever run the world, they're not going to want you about for too long if you can prove it. And that's where, again, the conspiracies where I got to, where you come to a stone wall, and the stone wall is you can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. The closest I've came to with that conspiracy stuff, the closest that any proof has actually been done, is a guy called Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer. That's the closest you'll ever come to any conspiracy. Or another guy, which a lot of people are noticing now, is Graham Hancock, about the history of the human race. And it just leaves open questions. How does Ponte Picchu, or whatever you call it, he always talks about, or underneath the Sphinx, all the places he's been, and all these places in the world where there's pyramids, it just leaves it open. It just leaves you for more questions. It never actually gets you anywhere. The best you'll get out of it for a conspiracy is travel in the world to see all this stuff. Which is a good thing. It gives you something to work the go work towards. I'm a big advocate for the conspiracy. The whole point of it being a conspiracy is because it's closed behind closed doors. Anybody, we could sit here and make up. The internet does it all the time. Sit here and talk about something and not let anybody know about it. That's the whole point of a conspiracy. You don't want people to know. Like developing a game, perfect. Developing a game, you need to keep it tight-lipped. Diablo 4, don't let anybody know what's in the game, what's going to be all the options in the game and all. That's a conspiracy. It may not exactly be a conspiracy like aliens run the world, but it's still a conspiracy when it's behind closed doors, and then they're going to release it on a launch date. They're eventually going to release it. Like I think they released their, well, say us as human beings, the government, that we don't force to do anything for us because they keep the information and they make us feel like we're doing something for, like we're supposed to be the problem when they're the ones that's siphoning off our back like parasites. So they released information about the Roswell thing there. They're talking about the aliens and all this here. It's all a distraction. Like if they released, they don't. I don't think they actually have any information when it comes to that stuff. As I said, Stephen Greer works in. He's been doing that there, and his background was that he worked for the CIA. That was the catch that I seen, and he never wavered. But he did. He brought out an app that you can get. You can download that he made. It's called Contact, and you can actually use it on Google. I think it's on Google or whatever, or the Apple iStore or whatever you call it. You can download these things, and it will contact these beings or whatever's out there, the lights and all that he goes around looking for. And anyway, after 20, 30, 40 years or whatever he's been doing this, he's been working on it. He actually presented, there's a whole thing on YouTube where you can watch, where he presented all his information to Congress, or what do you call it? Is it the North American Union, or what do you call them? The ones that's fighting NATO, North American Tactical Organization or something. I can't remember what you call. But he presented all this information to these top guys, and he might as well be talking into the void, the abyss. It went nowhere. It has developed no traction, and it was valid information that he had gathered over 40 years or more, I think. The same as David Icke having his information. The same as another one I like is Jordan Maxwell, of what's going on in the world. These guys that I watched, and the big one now that everyone's talking about is Alex Jones. I was watching Alex Jones the same as everybody else years ago when I was a kid, and seeing all the Agenda 21 and all, and what he was talking about, what was going to happen and all. It comes down to survival based. Then he's like selling his multivitamins and his things to make you stronger, but he still needs to make money off the backs of the system so he can keep giving you journalism. And there's nothing better than the truth to sell. There's nothing better than the truth to sell. All these ones, when they go round, they sell you a lie. That was the catch that I discovered in the conspiracy stuff. All of it's a lie. The mainstream media is a lie. All that stuff's a lie. But yet, or intellectuals, like academic intellectuals, they sell you lies. Like, I know better because it doesn't agree with Darwin's theory, or NASA's theory of space. It doesn't agree with their entertainment method. That's what all this stuff is. And we're going again down the rabbit hole talking about the world and things that's going on. These people that I'm talking about have studied it their whole life. There's websites, there's information there available for them. Dig deep enough, and you'll find plenty. One side of the argument, the other side of the argument, and there is a lot of truth to it. As I say, I like to pin the tail on the donkey when it comes to this stuff, and I go, oh, it's in and around here. Warp speed was a loan from the Bank of the World or whatever, in America, to the world to put everybody in debt. The lie was sold to everyone that you can take a few days off work because of a virus, and we've cleared the debt. Now, this is what I'm trying to say: is we cleared the debt of the world. There's a lot of countries cleared their debt with America or whatever it is, and the gold standard or whatever from World War One or World War Two or whatever it was when that was paid for. And what it meant was everyone's wages and everyone's financial could financially benefit from being out of debt because the money can only go up. The cost of living and stuff you could buy, everything, it could be higher. So what they did is in 2020 they crushed that. They made sure that most of the countries will go back into debt, and that's what we're in now. That's why they're buying up the houses. That's why they're the clamp down on you should have whatever, you should have this, that, and the other. The media themselves, like Rebel Media and all, went straight to the guys, the top of Pfizer and all, and asked them the hard questions. What about all the people that ended up losing their lives over this and all? What about all the people and all that? It was a trial run and all that you told. What about all the VIIRS reporting? What about all the stuff and all? What about all that? And they still stick the other side, if you want to say, always still stick to their narrative, going, that's what happens. That's for the price of science. Okay. So was it conspiracy? It's still whatever you want to call it, a rabbit hole. And one side will in philosophy, one side will always argue back and forth till the end of time. I look at the pin and tail and donkey and go, I want the exact answer, but you can never get the exact answer. It's never like there. You can look at the evidence, like as I say, their debts were paid off, or people taking out insurance claims a week before things happen on 2 buildings that everyone always talks about. But the one thing that people miss and they don't like to talk about is the truth agenda. When there was a group of people with apparently there was a group of people that got together, the families and all, about the people that died or got hurt or whatever. They got together and they fought back against Tony Blair, and they fought back against the quote marks the system, the economy, the law system, to find out the truth of what went on. And their conclusion was that it was a conspiracy, that it was built against the American people. The Truth Movement, I think it was called. Again, I pin the tail on donkey. Why did all them people want their information and they were blocked? What about all the VIIRS reports and the yellow card system? Again, blocked. Why was it 75? Why was the information locked behind a 75-year-old or 75-year vault? Locked, blocked. Why did Bill Gates not give out the ingredients for all the other manufacturers to create? Blocked, stopped, profit. That's what it's about. This stuff is always the same. It always has the same narrative that Russell Brand goes on about too. It's always the number one priority. How can it benefit me, and how much profit can I get from it? And that's what I said about the guy in Pfizer. No, he can't answer for all the people that work in his company in Pfizer. That's why he didn't. That's why he didn't answer Rebel Media and all the other media, the smaller media companies that were asking these questions, because he can't answer for them. He can't turn around and say that a manager at the bottom of his system that's been told by him or by their company to get them into the people's arms. What was the other thing as well that was about this stuff? Alex Jones is still saying that the agenda is going to be going forward with the technocracy. I like the whole, as I say, that's what this channel, I'm trying to make this channel about, with sci-fi stuff. We're going into a fuck you society, basically. Fuck you, it doesn't help me, so fuck you, it doesn't make me money. That's what I see. I could be wrong. I would like to be wrong. I would like to be sitting by the tree singing Kumbaya, but it seems to be TikTok's the priority these days. Streaming is the priority. Talking to yourself. Dumbing the masses down. The big one for me, even more so than all that stuff, is if you go back to the very beginning of whatever story you're told, the Bible, Adam and Eve, Darwinism, right? Science, whatever came from space. What was the blueprint? The blueprint, right? What was the blueprint of a human body? I'm going to ask, how did this get created? See this? How is this the perfect design? Why not? Why not? Um, why not 3 fingers in the thumb? Why not? 2 fingers in the thumb? Why not? Why 4 fingers and a thumb? Why? Who made that blueprint? Why, in science, when you go right to the DNA level, the fingerprint is supposed to be unique to you? Why is that? And if you believe in Darwinism and science and whatever else, that blueprint, right, is only for one being, right? For the development of evolution, right, to work, which Darwin didn't believe in his own theory anyway, apparently. From Billy Carson, he pointed that out. He does a lot of work too in this stuff. The blueprint of one being, when you create something, we have 2. How did the female develop? Where did the second blueprint come from? From the first one? Then how does it work? How does it work when the parts have to fit? Because in Darwin's theory, everything has to evolve at in the scientific term, the exact same rate. That means the genitalia, right, which we're all identifying as cats and dogs and fucking cows or whatever else, because they only identify in here. But your body parts, right, your actual 2 body parts that exist, need to be an original blueprint. If we have been here for thousands of years, right, hundreds of thousands of years or millions of years or whatever, right, what was the first blueprint? And then from that blueprint, what was the second blueprint? Because if we do simple mathematics, right, from Adam and Eve, or what other beings was there, the Anunnaki or whatever and all, right? When you create them, Simple understanding means that you need to create the first one, then create another one to match the first one, to create duplicates or clones or DNA strands that match the original blueprint, right? That's a simple that's simple understanding, but the process of that for the human being, right? When it comes to just banging every woman and everything, living as a man, go forth and multiply and all that. When a lot of people do it, I say a lot of people dumb down people and all, go with their sisters and brothers and mothers and all that stuff. Why is it then there's genetic defects? It's simple understanding, as if to say you look at what's going on around you, and then in your head, a lot of people go, should not be like that. And I go, I used to be in that mindset where should not be this, should not be this, should be that. Do you know what? Well, the reality isn't. There's people running around identifying as fucking cats, dogs, cows, and horses or whatever. There's people running around singing and dancing on TikTok or fucking on Twitch or whatever it is, offering themselves in any shape or form in reality of the imagination. That's the reality. That's what we're living in, and that's why I keep saying we keep moving forward, but we're moving forward in a bureaucracy controlled society that has no regards for each other because of pure profit and benefit for themselves. So if that means technology, when you have the latest iPhone, you can rub in other people's face. That's the reality of what people are doing. I've got the latest iPhone 25. I'm gonna rub it in your face. I've got the latest fucking and greatest Volvo car or electric car. I'm gonna rub it in your face. That's the reality we live in. And the ones who have this is the other thing I just can't contemplate. I can't understand when they've got people like that getting on like that, right? That are talking and treating other people like shite. You've got a world where you've got people going, not the world's fine. It's the people. You've got people going, rubbing that in their face, but they're sitting at the top. Elon Musk has, I know, X amount of billions that keeps a load of people employed. Jeff Bezos for Twitch and Amazon and all keeps X amount of people employed. He has billions as well. Billions, right? Do you understand that? Think about how much money would solve all your problems or my problems, right? That's not even on the scale. It's not even registering on the amount of money that these politicians and these Rockefellers and these philanthropists and mavericks and whatever else you want to call them, Bill Gates and all, doesn't even register. Doesn't even come into any shape or form of iota. I can't stress enough of how little money would mean to solve your problems or my problems. They want us to freeze to death and die so they can keep billions, millions upon billions of currency, of the top currency in the world. How does that even fathom? They've got more money to solve all the world's problems, but yet they sit there and say, we're going to solve all the world's problems. Well, Bill Gates, love letter? Why didn't you when you had the ingredients for your fucking so-called great vaccine? Why didn't you? Why didn't you solve the world's problems? You didn't. The world rejected it because they knew it was a lie. He was selling them a lie. He was profiting from people's deaths. That was the goal. And his mother was a eugenics movement or eugenicist. That's the world we live in. That's the society we live in. That's the only way that these ones have. They money doesn't exist on their level. They can move mountains with our labor, our force, what we are capable of, and we sit back and watch TikTok while they let people like us drop dead of colds, diseases that could be cured, and pains and aches or whatever you may have. They profit from it. And when the likes ourselves go to the doctors or whatever and all, the very words from Jordan Maxwell are used against us. Doctor does not mean doctor. It doesn't mean healer. That's how slow and stupid we are. I'm not excluding myself from this. I'm not saying I'm better in any shape or form. That's what we are. When I say we, every day we have to be beat with the big stick and dumbed down by the mainstream media, by playing games, by whatever it may be, distracted in some shape or form to keep us away from the ultimate goal of moving the human race forward. When they say that they're going to look after our children, or we're going to help the children for the future and all this here, it's a lie. Obviously, it's a lie. No one cares about it. No, there's a lot of things that go through the process to get for people's own benefits, and it's deplorable and disgusting. That I would like to think that it's not like that, but and the stark reality. Again, I like to look at Jacques Fresco. He did a thing called the Venus Project. That's Elon Musk, right? There's another one. Elon Musk and Jack Fresco, right, pointed out that it's your environment that develops you or makes things the way they are. What environment are we living in? We're not exactly living in the greatest of environments. I'm not saying we're in the worst of environments either. I'm not exactly in the worst environments, but it's the difficulty of moving forward with what you're willing to do or capable of. I look down on myself a lot, but I like to open up a lot and call it out and speak about it because I have nothing, because I don't care. That's what this is about too. This is why I'm doing this. I would like it to be better. Jack Fresco did the Venus Project, and as I said, Elon Musk. Elon Musk just looked around him as well, and he must have looked at the Francesco. He must know about the Venus Project. I'm pretty convinced he does. He must know about it, and he went, I'm going to take them concepts of the magnetic reel or what other things did he? I don't know if he did the magnetic relay. That was in China, wasn't it, or Japan? Or he takes the concepts out of literally right out of the book. I've got the book of Jacques Fresco's The Venus Project. He literally takes it right out of the book. Like, I'm talking myself, but I like to look after my books. I like to read my books. You can see this, right? And so what it says in it, again, right? This is straight to Elon Musk, right? We hear this, right? Fresco envisions a global civilization in which science and technology are applied with human environmental concern to secure, protect, and encourage a more humane world for all people. He's been to Congress and all and done this stuff. Like, this is the rabbit hole. This is what this is all about. This is all coming from Win Chi Lee. This book offers a possible way out of our recurring cycles of boom and recession. Like I said earlier, we paid off the debt of World War II or World War One, and it takes a lot to find that out. And then we got into debt with warp speed, and there was a trade deal going on between, I think it was China and America, with Donald Trump. Okay, so anyway, and he signed that trade deal. The clause in the trade deal was, in case there was a pandemic, the trade deal was void. Guess what happened? Anyway, the boom and recession, famine, poverty, or a declining environment, and territorial conflicts. What's going on now? Where peace is merely the interval between wars. What's going on now? Again, what's Elon Musk doing? Trying to get off the planet. But he's targeting towards a goal. That's the idea. The idea of moving forward. The idea of having something to work towards. That's what Elon Musk is trying to do. Okay? We're not. Let me be clear about this as well. How can I make this as clear as possible? If you believe in the NASA thing, why are we? Here's a straight, direct one for NASA as well. If you believe in there's space up there and you can see it, just because you look up. Why is it that we haven't? There's two of them actually. Why is it that we haven't been to the moon? Okay, since 1969, was it 1968? I think, or was it 1950s? We went there, and they released the information about that too. Here's straight away. When did man the moon? 1969. There you go. Okay, see that? Right, Apollo 11. I watched the interview when they came back. I watched the interview before they went. I watched the event as it happened. It goes up, and it goes across, and it comes back down in the water. And it landed near where I live. Okay? So it's very strange that we in there. They keep avoiding it about the question of not being back up again. And that's why Elon Musk is targeting towards Mars. Big rabbit hole. The other one is when it comes to the outside space people that think that there's space out there or whatever it may be, right? That there's other planets and all this other stuff. Is the Russians got into space first, apparently. How did the Russians, right, get the technology to go into space? Into space? No one had landed on the moon yet. No one had been in space ever. The Russians got into space first, right? Then the Americans went to the moon. Somebody's been talking. Somebody's been doing a conspiracy. Think whatever you want of that. Anyway, so again, back to Elon Musk. Recession, declining, and wars. It outlines an attainable human social design of the near future, where human rights, again, he always talks about the future, because in the future people will be more clear about things and they'll be more understanding about things, and you arrive at conclusions and you arrive to the answers and you arrive to all the things. You don't talk, you don't argue it out, you don't debate it, you don't keep it going, you don't hold up your philosophy or your theory or whatever. You don't do any of that. You arrive at the end of evidence of what's available and what's informative and conclusive that can physically be touched or done, attainable by humans. Humane social design of the near future, where human rights are no longer paper proclamations but a way of life. Jack Fresco was questioned about this in an interview one time. Okay, here's what the interviewer asked him. The interviewer goes, "Are you a religious person?" And he goes, "Why would you ask that?" "Sure, of course it would be. I care about human beings." And he goes, "Well, would you believe in Christianity or Jesus?" And he goes, "Of course. Why would I not?" And then he says, "Would you believe in his teachings?" He says, "Yeah. Why aren't?" And then Jack Fresco says, if you believe in his teachings, then why aren't they being implemented? Why isn't what Jesus said, the simplest things of looking after one another, being done? We are going in the complete opposite direction with technology than towards helping those that need it when it comes to free energy, electric cars, hydrogen cars. There's people starving that need generators and need water wells. Mr. Beast. Suppressed technology, suppressed information. Why? Who? What? Most people are human beings, I would like to think, like to help each other. But again, if you don't know about it and it's not in sight, people don't care. So why is that being suppressed? Why is the positive outcomes being suppressed? We've been to the moon, but we taped over the tapes. The Russians went into space first. But we got to the moon. It's always a narrative back and forth. Who's in charge? What's they're doing? Yada yada. Yeah. Okay. Well, forget about that anyway. People are just assholes. So because we're being taught we're being taught in a society. We're being taught in a society to treat people like that because of owning stuff or being like that or talking to people. That's generally what it's about. The internet though is a different ball game. They're not like in this. That's why you're getting ad blockers. That's why we're getting connection blocking. That's why China has the internet wall. Because they don't want a global civilization. They want to keep everybody separate. They don't want anybody protesting about, or they don't. It's not protest. They don't want anybody congregating to talk about issues that can be solved if you're poor, because it benefits those that have all the money, as I was talking about, the billions upon billions upon billions that can solve it. Most of the things have probably been solved because there's been research done on it and shut down from private corporate companies that have been set up to pay people to solve these problems, and then they've been laid off or put off contract work, and cures have been created to keep these other people alive longer, or whatever it may be. That's what, when you have enough money, you can when you can pay other people and you treat people like that, that's what you get. So see when it comes back around and the Lord or karma or whatever you want to call it comes back around for them, it'll be a long time coming. So I'll put it in a wee bit more clear. When somebody when something bad happens to you, okay, and you're going, oh, you're trying to tell people about the electric cars coming or conspiracy happening or children being treated the way they are, and you're trying to point out or trafficking or whatever it may be, yeah, and you're going, look at that bad stuff, look at all that bad stuff and all, and everyone ignores you and doesn't help you and doesn't care and nothing can be done about it. See, when it happens to the person that you pointed out to, and they're going, oh shit, it's happened to me, you know, that's when you give them their comeuppance. You turn around and so, as much as you would love to go, oh, I told you so or whatever and all, it's, we created that. That was our fault. It was everybody for not fucking listening. So don't complain about it when you get sacked from a fucking job, and it was the other person behind you had already been sacked, and he tried to point out to you it was going to fucking happen, and you just went, "Oh, I'll be working here for the next 30 years." Don't complain about it when you get sacked the next day. The best that money can't the best that money can't buy. Back to this with Elon Musk is a challenge to all people to work towards a society in which all of the world's resources. Now, this is where I come into conflict with this here. Okay, I agree with a lot of the concepts, but I'll point out about the resource thing. Is a resource-based management system, and I think that's wrong, because I would say that there's plenty of resources on the earth to manage everybody, to help everyone. He uses a resource management system. Okay, resource-based economy. It's called resource-based economy, or RBE, and a resource-based economy or resource. Can't remember where's the exact thing for it. Management system. Yeah, resource-based economy. So, become common heritage of all the Earth's people. Becomes common heritage to all the Earth's people. Everybody here. That means that there won't be anybody who owns a particular type of art or owns a particular type of rock. There are, right? So you think it's funny about a rock? You would think it's funny about a rock. Okay, let me give you a rock. The Rock of Jordan, the Stone of Jordan. Think that's funny? Think it's funny now? Right. So a particular type of rock. Do you know what that rock is? The Stone of Jordan? Yeah. Probably a lot of people probably don't even know what the Stone of Jordan is. You know what? Do you know what it is? It sits under the throne in fucking England. Sure, it's laughable, isn't it? Owning a rock. Why do they have it? I'll go even a wee bit further for you, for that wee bit of information. It's not funny anymore, is it? When it's a fucking rock, the Stone of Jordan, which is sitting under the throne of England. Okay? It's not funny anymore. Do you know why? It was stolen one time. That rock was stolen. It was stolen. It was stolen by a group of people. Do you know the fucking witch hunt that they went through to get that fucking stone back? Why couldn't they just replace it? Why can't they just go, we'll just go and pick up another fucking stone? We'll just go and pick one up from fucking outside fucking Buckingham Palace there? No way. That stone was used to throne every king in succession from fucking Israel. That's why we're having a fucking war with Israel and Palestine. Because of that fucking stone. It's not funny anymore, is it? Anyway, that's why we have an economy. It's based on what does people own? And it's literally everything. People will own words like, I take my kids to school, or my man stays out of prison. That's the type of poor shit that people complain about. To own, to take credit for something that's fucking so stupid. Common heritage for all the Earth's population, or people. It is accompanied by 70 colour photos of frescoes' original designs. There is designs in it. It's pretty good to point out what we're capable of. Now, well, he wrote this book in, it was 80s. It was published. It was 2002. It was published. The first 2001. Right, so I got it wrong. I thought it was the 80s. Copyright 2002, but fresco was 1916. And then it says the Library of Congress in 2001, the first Global Cyber Visions edition in 2002 in January, the second Global Cyber Visions in 2002, Cyber Visions, the third edition in 2008, and it was printed in the United States of America, this book. That's why I got it shipped over. It cost me £40, £38 to get this book over here. And this is a worn version. It's the only one I could get. You need to go to Florida, I think it is, where his place actually is to get his publications or any of his work, or to go and see their garden and stuff. You still have to pay money. They don't create a new system for to live off. They adapt to what's currently going on. That's what this is about. That's what I'm trying to say. They adapt for the future. And Jack Fresco says, this system that we're in, the capitalist system, the communist system, the democracy system, all the different isms that are all created by political elites to keep us all poor and broke and whatever else, so we don't think outside the box or have any protests or actually any movement that actually has any footing against the organizations, the Freemasons or whatever you want to call them, right? Any of these groups. They don't want us to have that. They keep working towards against us, right? They don't want any of that. So, and then it's a company 70 which illuminate the fulfilling lifestyle of global resource-based economy. Now, I believe there's plenty of food, there's plenty of energy, like Nikola Tesla, or even magnets. Forgetting about Nikola Tesla, even just magnets to work with them, to wear them down, electromagnets or whatever you want to create, to give you enough energy for even just to run in off the grid in somewhere in Africa or in the desert in the Middle East and stuff and all. The places where it's hard, very harsh and hard to work with. To get enough energy to get things working, whatever you need. And then you can work from there. That's not being done. None of that stuff of energy in the world is being done properly. The cost of these things, as I said, the cost is the price on your labour, the price on our labour for these things. That's what we're living off. We're living off. They're living off the backs of us, and they've been given an ultimatum. I believe they've been given an ultimatum that this planet is owned, and it's a resource for other beings to harvest us. That's why we're always based on survival. Think of it a bit like this. When the cows are in the field, does the farmer care what they're doing? No. He doesn't care. He feeds them, they feed themselves, he deals with them, then you know what happens next. That's the same for the human race. There was a 4-hour documentary or something, or 4-hour, what was it, 4-hour video or something, I think it is, that's out there somewhere. Again, take it for what it is, go down the rabbit hole, find out whatever you want, think about it whatever way you want. That we were given an agreement, that the government forces have been given an agreement that you'll agree to give in to these beings, or the whole human population gets wiped out. And they agreed for harvesting. Who knows what win would have been better anyway. And it's a stark reality of why nothing gets changed. That the bad stuff happens, quote marks, the bad stuff happens. That beings that we won't become our full powerful potential of whatever it may be, to use our pineal glands of crystals or whatever to enhance ourselves to a level of perfect light or immortality or whatever you want to believe. Out of body experiences or whatever it is, or what do you call that? Out of body experiences. It is out of body experiences with your whole spirit leaving your body and all this shit. To become like that, we make ourselves. No one likes a smart arse. That's why I've learned. No one likes. People don't like me because I look into things and try and find pin, tail, and donkey to get an answer. So people get pissed off the fact that I point these things out about Alex Jones, Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, pull up all these names, Billy Carson, Nikola Tesla, whatever one you want to talk about, whatever subject you want to talk about. All them people did a lot of things. Fuck me, even Gandhi pointed out that you need to care about other people, and they even fucking killed him. You know? Even Mother Teresa was on the fucking, not on the hit list, but on their list as well, on these people's lists that run this stuff. There's other things going on. I watch a guy, Night God 333. He's on Facebook. I don't know if anybody's listening or cares, but he does a lot of work doing videos like this. He finds a lot of things, and supposedly there's supposed to be these giants in Antarctic. I know we're going a wee bit further off the topic when it comes to we're going to conspiracy stuff, but with the economy, the economy is the matrix, the system. That when people say the system, they mean the matrix. When they mean the matrix, they mean the economy. It's all the same thing. System, the Trinity. System, matrix, economy. Economy runs it all. And then there's the three big ones, the three M's. military, media, and money. That's all the Matrix. That's how they control the understanding of what people learn or train or study. The internet, though, what do you call it? Encompasses that, the Matrix. They don't like that. They're within the internet, and the internet's outside that, and that's everybody's consciousness around the connection, what we're all doing. So everybody talks. You go onto YouTube, they try to control that. You go onto, they have to sell you the adpocalypse. You go onto, what's the other websites and all they own, or Google, and Twitch, whatever one it may be, Rumble, the big one. So they're against the tide. Break is another one. Odyssey, all these other websites that are propping up or keeping the likes of YouTube up. But now even people are always testing the armor of YouTube or Google to see if they can break the chains, if you want to say, like the wording, the laws, or the contracts, to say, I don't want to use Google, so I'll use DuckDuckGo. When it's exactly probably finding the same information or whatever, no one does the same thing. It'll still have same ads or whatever. Or what's the other websites that people they're watching my information, they're watching us right now. All that stuff. They are watching, they are listening, they are it's us. That's what this recording is. That's what the internet is. The internet is this. That's my rant about things. I have read this book, so I've read a few books. I've watched. You can go onto YouTube and see. Jack Fresco has a full transcript and all, and explains a lot about what things would be possible now. Like simple things like everybody could be given a 3D printer, right? Just some complete and utter theory, right? Thinking out loud. Everyone given a 3D printer, right? No one knows what to do with it. So all you have to do is give them something to build. Everyone builds whatever it may be. Simple things. Let's make something simple. Something that would be common to what people need. Bottles, plastic bottles or something. So the world will be flooded with plastic bottles, or poop scoopers for dogs. I don't know, things like that there, without having to sell them, to have a stock to help people in the area, or even just use it in a way where it's like for the community to help each other have something to build. What other things is there? Because not everyone knows about 3D printing and stuff and all. Not everyone knows how to use these things. That's going to turn off. I find it amazing that when people are going, I can't do this or I can't do that or whatever it may be, when they've been doing something for a long time, they've been working away, being a welder or something, or they've been mechanic or construction or labouring or whatever it is, they've been doing it for years or months or whatever, and then all of a sudden they turn around and I can't do this, because they're not getting paid when they've been doing it. A personal trainer or whatever, or nutritionist or doctor or whatever, they've been helping people, they've been doing something, but then because the money's not flowing anymore, they can't put a roof over their head. While putting a roof over your head shouldn't be the survival basis. Again, back to the premise that we're all controlled and you have to be living in a survival mindset and constantly not having enough. Because I've been watching very closely. It's another one that brings us into the digital currency. The UK made a thing there with Great Britain News or GB News, and I think it was Nigel Farage, I'm not sure now, put a thing through that cash will stay in law. I don't know how that's going to work when these ones, like, people are watching, what do you call him, Carl Schwab, will be getting what he wants because he's related to the right people, and that's what he's always been involved in. Call them whatever you want. They make sure that their plans go through because the likes of you and me are getting a paycheck. They make us keep doing it so we can keep a roof under our head. He doesn't have to deal with that. He doesn't have to worry about any of that. And you've got people, as I said, that are eugenicists that have been keeping the agenda going. And I'll make it a wee bit more clear when it comes to eugenics and stuff and all. It wasn't that long ago. And when you say that, not that long ago, for some people that might be listening to their kids are 20 or something now. I'm not saying I'm that much older. I'm 38. So you go back, and it was only in about the 70s, 80s when contraception for women the contraception pill was available for women, and it was on trial then. It was on trial. It was tested and trialed and worked on in the 70s and 80s. You're only going back 20, 30, 40, 50 years. That might sound like a lot, but against the human civilization, it's not even a blink of the eye. Not even a blink of the eye. 50 years. It might be a lifetime to some people, but it was only trialed then, and it didn't work. It didn't work. We're still using them. It fucks up the women's hormones. Why do you think they always go on about their fucking hormones? Why do you think they always complain about their problems? Because that's what it's doing. That was the exact idea, to keep it unregulated, to keep them controlled, that they're complaining about something and distracted. Simple. That was the obvious goal. It was always the plan. It was never to help you. And I'll make it a wee bit more, I'll take you a wee bit further down the road, because if it was, then how would doctors have anything to work on? Think of it like, instead of saying doctor, say engineer, right? An engineer solves problems, right? Doctors are supposed to solve problems, yeah? So, when you have the human body that's supposed to be, say, generally okay, right? A female human body, you're not going to have a customer. You're not going to have You're not going to have food on the table for the children, and you're not going to have a roof over your head. If that person is perfectly fine, what do? As an engineer or doctor, you got to sell them something. What do you sell them? You sell them something that they can have more benefit from. That's called, you want to do more of that? We'll find a way for you. Investment, money, gets a lot of things moving. People do it. Moves the process forward, science. There you go. That's what you want. There's your pill. Doesn't work? Great. We'll find something else. We'll keep working with you. Yeah? So when you've got a broken car, what is the mechanic going to turn around and say, oh, I'm going to fix that car so it's 100%? Is he going to be able to put food on the table? No. He can't fix everything. Or he can fix everything, but he won't fix everything. That's the same for the human body. Can fix everything, but it wouldn't benefit him if he did fix everything. And that's why it's been going for at least 40, 50 years now. That takes us back to the 60s and 70s again with this Win Chi Lee thing. The rabbit hole. They pop up everywhere. This stuff. So, again, if you don't believe me with that, with the contraception pill and the doctors, that they're not connected and it's nothing to do with any of that, okay? If you go far enough back, just about 100 years, 120 years, though, just before World War I, you'll realise that where does the title doctor come from? These are the questions I asked all the time. Do you know where it comes from? The title doctor comes from pharmaceutical investors. They invested, businessmen invested money into educating, quote marks, educating people on the human body. And as long as it still sounds like a good thing, but again, eugenics is always a good thing, isn't it? Eugenics is a great thing when used in the right hands, the same as technology or weaponry or whatever. Using the wrong hands, it can be very destructive, obviously. That's why they had the Geneva Convention. So people are learning in schools and universities to this day, right now, about what was supposed to be the human body, what was supposed to be within the rules of what they set out in that plan that you're only allowed to study and understand. This is why the internet is the bigger picture and has rabbit holes or bigger understanding. Nikola Tesla is a perfect example of that. That they hate the fact that he was coming up with free energy or concepts or ideas of getting energy. Same for the human body. They don't want you to know that your natural system could be a lot stronger, healthier, and the food supply that we're getting is corrupt and diluted to keep us dumbed down and chemically castrated, basically chemically castrated, so we can't become stronger and live longer. Why would the Rockefellers or whatever not want you to be stronger and live longer? It's simple. Why would anybody want another person to be successful in any way? A lot of times it's a crab bucket, isn't it? So that's a perfect. That's what I'm trying to say. We live in a society that does that. We live in a society that I'll teach you like I'm helping you, but if I teach you too much, then you'll leave and do your own thing, and I won't be able to feed my family. But if I can teach you and you harm others, then I benefit from it, because you'll always have to be learning. But if you don't know it and you don't pay attention to what you're learning and understanding, and you're causing harm, then that's the trick and the lie that I've sold you. That's what pharmaceuticals have done. The insurance companies and the businessmen back about 120 years ago, or whenever it was, 100 years ago, 120 years ago, yeah, sold the lie that they would build education again for the industrial age to train workers and people to do all the odd jobs and just indoctrinate your mind to become a worker and do as they tell you and give you the rules, and they have the authority that you do as they tell you, and everyone falls in line. Now, there is, how can I say it? There is people that go against the grain, go against the side, but they get pushed aside. Martin Luther King, both of them as well. Martin Luther King, um, Thomas Sowell, they get pushed aside. They don't get the credit. They get crushed in the waves of the masses, the dumbed down masses. That's my personal opinion. They get crushed by the masses, shouting them down. And there's certain groups and stuff and all now that again identify as whatever they want to be, cat, dog, fucking horse or whatever. You can identify as whatever you want. You can in here. But again, the blueprint in your body cannot change. It doesn't change. When you're asked what gender do you want to be, there's only two options. You can identify or think whatever you want. Doesn't mean that you are. And but the world I'm talking about here, the society I'm talking about is way above that, way beyond all that. And again, I would like to think that a lot of people already know this. They look around you and everyone looks around them and goes, and I don't know if they question why is it like this, but they do look around them and see that it doesn't benefit them. And it's designed that way to not benefit you. It's designed that way. It's made this way to not benefit us. We could go down again the conspiracy rabbit hole forever. I've just talked about the moon landing. I've talked about the different people that offer information if you want to go and look for them. I always look upon them that I thought good, me personally, but I think he's actually stepped away from all of it as well. As a guy about ancient history and stuff, all that there is Michael Tarson. That's Michael Tarson with a T. So I'll put it in the chat. So that's his name. And that guy, when you look him up, we'll have we look, will we? On YouTube. Normally the first thing that comes up is his Atlantis stuff. I don't know if he stepped away. There's a few done interviews with him recently. He's from Northern Ireland. That's what I liked about it. He has a couple of websites. Unslaved is one of them, his podcasts. 9 days ago, there he is there. I thought he stepped away. Here for the Truth. He's been in this game for a long time. There's one, archetypes and origins of business. So what I was talking about with the doctors thing is an archetype. Okay, aware of what an archetype means. Okay, so I'll have to look it up for the actual genuine description. So archetype, right? Proper short description. Archetype. A very typical example of a certain person or thing. Psychoanalysis. In Jungian theory, right? So this is how deep it goes. In Jungian theory, a primitive mental image inherited from the earliest human ancestors and supposed to be presented in collective unconscious. So when you say the word doctor, everyone has an automatic reaction to think, doctor help, doctor's there for me. When you don't have any other options though, and you don't think for yourself, that's why then your mind gravitates towards the help. That's why it's offered. Then you end up hooked on all sorts of stuff. That's why they say there's opioid crisis, and that everyone's on these different types of pain reliefs and all, because pain relief is the only one that numbs the immune system. The pain receptors. Simple. The archetype, a concept or an archetype. The concept of archetype appears in areas relating to behavior, historical psychology, and literacy analysis. Let that sink in for a minute. Behavior, humans, historical psychology of what people think, and literacy analysis. So words themselves, the very study of words. An archetype can be any of the following: a statement, pattern of behavior, a prototype, first form, or a main model that other statements, patterns of behavior, and objects copy, emulate, or merge into. Now think about that for a moment. So when we go back to the doctor understanding or the mechanic or whatever, what we were taught is patterns of behavior and objects to copy or emulate. So you get the first one, who's the doctor, the first study, then everybody else copies, which is an emulation or merge into the system to become part of helping others. When you turn around and say the cannabinoid system in the human body, these people don't understand what that means. It's the other part, the counterpart to your nervous system that helps with the the tree in your body, the nervous system, the veins and all and everything, the wiring of your body. They don't want to help you with that. What they give you is pain relief for one system and not the other one. That's why they're always fighting with you about cannabis. Now, I'm not saying it's for or against, but that's why you get a relief, because as we get older, one system doesn't get the right ingredients as the other one would. And this is where you get stuck with the pain or the escapism mentality. Then nothing is going to change or whatever it may be. Text message. Hold on. I left it off with Michael Tyson. I'll leave it there. He's got a lot of work. He goes back in Irish mythology. There's one I haven't seen of his guitars. 10 years ago, he does guitar. I think he does esoteric stuff. That's that. Guys, there's people picking up on him as well. The interviews, the one-on-one. One of these guys I watched the interviews with him. Was it him? Unslaved. I think he has another web page as well. There's the female Illuminati. I watched that. There was the interview about secrets of Atlantis. What other stuff was there? He used to have a series of Atlantis on it. Is it there? Is this it? I think this. The Antediluvian World. I can't remember what that means. Diluvian. He's put anti on it. Diluvian. See. VAN. VI. Diluvian. Diluvian of diluvial. What does diluvian mean? Related to or brought about by a flood. There you go. It's called the Great Deluge. The Great Deluge is an old concept or an old idea, old thing that happened apparently with Noah. It was the flood. He calls it the antediluvian world. Didn't happen. It was just a giant. It was just the way the water was. Christian origins. I think is it esoteric teachings or something like that as well. What does the term esoteric mean? Anyway, to me he's really good. I thought Diluvian was an actual person's name or something. Well, it was a lot. I've got a lot in my head about all that stuff. And it still hasn't made any difference in my life. Still hasn't made things better. It's nice to know. It's nice to think about it. It's nice to wonder. It's nice to go over all this stuff. But unless you're actually doing it, growing your own garden, making your own stuff, Comark's living off the grid and doing your own thing, it's a lot of what are these black pills, or is it black pill, or men going their own way or something, and all that stuff, is that unless you're living in a cave, you're not um, you're not progressing, you're not making your body better or whatever, or living on a paleo diet or whatever. which is stupid because in my mind, there's no such thing as an alpha wolf. Not for human beings, anyway. The alpha wolf concept only works for animals when you think about it. When you have the biggest guy, the strongest guy, yes, it works. But it doesn't mean in a social environment of what the way human brains work and social structure, or if you want to say social infrastructure internally, doesn't mean they agree with them. And yes, everyone's always biting at the alpha wolf, if you want to say, the biting the heels and they'll try and be better. If the alpha wolf thing worked, Caesar would not have been assassinated. It doesn't work. Human beings are social creatures. And when it comes to caveman stuff, it's handy to have the person that knows what they're doing, but not to have the fat guy lying around. Or the guy that isn't any use. Or doesn't help out. Because everyone starts getting very annoyed. So he could be the biggest lion, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be any fucking use. That's the social concept that the humans live off, human beings. And when I say use, you don't even have to be that much of a use. I'll go back to the lion idea, right? Everyone loves the lion idea. That the man has to be like a lion, right? If you really think like that, right? What does a lion do? The male lion has to fight other lions, male lions, off. No one ever says what happens when he gets old. That's an animal, not human being. Human beings are supposed to look after their most vulnerable. And to a certain degree, I would like to believe that we do. We do look after our vulnerable and our elderly. I would like to think that. Can't really, that have contributed in some way or done something or helped in society or in the communities or in some way, right? Yeah. Even if they're alcoholics or whatever, yes, they always have something. Or that we look after them. We look after each other. It's social. So when the lion gets old, he has to go away and die or get killed. Right? The females, right? This is the catch. What does the lioness do? What does the lionesses do? They do the hunting. They get the meat. So clearly, the concept of being the biggest lion or male lion doesn't work. In human concepts, in human understanding, we are social animals. But you can't have a hierarchy of dominance when the dominant creature is no use, which was Caesar. He was at the top, he still ruled, but he got fucking assassinated. That's how human beings work. We have the option and the choice to control the flow of who or what is going on in the social structure because of the communication. Lions, dogs, and animals don't have that complex a structure as we do. That's why a lot of people gravitate towards the animalistic alpha male. It's easy to say that the person is the biggest is the alpha male when they are training or working out or doing whatever they're doing, because that's where you want to be, or you want to do, or you want to progress to. Yeah? And again, there's nothing wrong with that, especially with the society that we have. But when it comes to what we want as human beings, it's about willpower and where you need to get to, where you want to get to, or you'll be killed off. Animalistic in nature, but social as a human being. It works for a wee bit more in-depth understanding of that. There was a book called The Monkey Paradox, I think it's called, that I read that a friend gave me one time. Yeah, The Monkey Paradox, or The Chimp Paradox. Right? It's a book. Let me see, books. Mine, the Chimp Paradox, isn't it? And in this book, it has two simple concepts of the mind. You have a monkey and you have the human. But the human can't get him done because he has to talk to the computer, which is the memory. And the monkey does whatever it wants, but it controls the body or the behavior or the motions. So when the human tries to get something done in the mind, when you try to focus or plan something, the monkey decides to take over emotionally. And then the computer decides from memory which one's the better course of action. So you end up being lazy all day because your emotions, and the monkey takes over. That's the animalistic alpha male. I don't give a shit. I'll do whatever I want. He's in charge. I can't do anything. Animalistic attitude. And then there's the human concept, which is the social thinking part, where it's pointing out, it's like, I need to plan, I need to put the information in for next week into this computer or the memory, get my alarm to work, and get tasks done. And on that day, when you wake up, you're hungry or whatever it is, and you go to get that job done. That's why you've got all these other mind management things, or was it time management, where they go eat the frog first and all this here stuff and all, because it's to suppress the monkey, the emotions, to get it, the body to do what you want it to do on a human level. So this is what I'm trying to get to with the whole overall global understanding of the human mind, the human as we are, is Rockefeller says he wants a nation of workers and not a nation of thinkers. And that's what ties it to that book, because he would rather everyone be thinking animalistically than actually thinking at all about critical thinking and stuff like that there of what's actually going on, or questioning anything of what is actually happening in front of them. So when the media puts out, oh look at this, it happened here, and presents this information in front of you, you don't question it. You just, and it's not questioned. It is questioned. I believe people do question it. they go when you're sitting at home, you can't talk back to the TV or to the when you're watching something on YouTube. It's just a screen. It doesn't care. So that's how they present it to us. They get the microphone out, like I'm doing, talk to you for 20 minutes, 10, 5, 10, 15 minutes, present the information, present what they would regard as their information, and people say is left or right or center, rather than presenting the information of what's actually going on, because it would be detrimental to their agenda or their goals. And people do go, oh, I don't think that's right, or that most people have a moral compass. But we don't get that option to talk back. We don't get that option to make any difference in that. There's it there. The limbic. There's the picture. Parental frontal limbic system. The monkey, the emotions, the human, and the computer. Was it? This one's got one too, is it? The human, the chimp, and the computer. Mental storage. That's the archive or your memory. Then your emotional machine and your true self, what the human wants. This is to do with, what do you call that? The hierarchy of needs. Self-actualization. What is that thing, right? So the higher, I think they changed it as well. Let's spell it right. Higher of needs, yeah. I will spell it properly. Maslow's, yeah. So it's a theory. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So if we go to an image, again, this is to do with what I'm trying to point out about the alpha and your understand alpha male and all this. So there's a better one because it's in the pyramid, but anyway. So psychological needs, safety and security, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. If I could, what I would actually do is you flip that upside down. You've got self-actualization, which is you sitting talking right now. You've got your emotional need, your emotional understanding, which is your self-esteem, how you feel right now. Then your this is upside. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking downwards. We'll talk down, not up, because it doesn't go up. It goes down, right? You understand that you're as a self. You got your self-esteem of how you feel. Then you've got your love and belonging. If you've got a family or those around you, right? As you go down, not up, like this one says about going up. Right? It says about going up, which is a load of shit. And then some of them breaks it down. And then you've got your safety and security outside you from your circle of your family or those around you. Then you've got the top of the pyramid, which is your basis here, is the psychological needs. So they've got it's breathing, food, water, shelter, and clothing and sleep. So he's put it from bottom to top. Psychological needs at the bottom as a basis. I don't see it that way. I see it with self-actualization as yourself first. You need to flip that up. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs is the wrong way round in the society we live in and the way we live. You need to realize what your position is first, what you're doing, and how you've been doing it in your whatever way you're living. The next step after that there is controlling your emotional needs, which is your self-esteem of how that's being managed. So you might feel like shit, like I do most of the time, or that most things don't fucking matter, or material goods that you want, or whatever it might be. Then your next step around that, if you imagine it like a circle, is your circle of love and belonging, of where your position is in that. Your family, your friends, your relatives, or whatever it may be, or whoever they may be, to them, what relation you have to them, what you've helped them out, what you've done. Then your next step is outside that, which is their safety and your safety and security. So again, you could be like myself. I like a lot of security where it comes to safety and security comes around the concept of, or the idea that if you feel safe in yourself, others will feel safe around you, and it's pointing that out to others that they'll feel better too. That you're not there to hinder them in any shape or form. So you could be selling cameras. That's one thing I've always wondered about, selling cameras and installing cameras for them other people. I've never understood it. Why would somebody buy a camera? But again, it's for having that image and security to see things that's going on when you're not around. So you could sell that, and the safety of that there is the peace of mind that you can see something if anything happens or whatever. Then in the back of that there's the psychological need of my belongings are looked after, or I can see things. It's the dog's in the garden or whatever it is. It's fed or something, or it's been out to the toilet or whatever, you know. And you having your belongings. Yeah. Again, that's back to the best the money can't buy, resource based economy, and the survival instinct that we hoard everything. Okay, and that's what was trained into us. I think we've came full circle about this stuff because I'm getting tired of talking about that we're not what we think we are. There it is. It's bigger. They always put self actualization at the top because it's giving you the misrepresentation, the misinterpretation, the misdirection that psychological needs is at the bottom. No, psychological needs is at the top. Self-actualization is the easiest one to get first. The next one to self-actualization is your emotional needs, which is self-esteem. And then your next one is love and belonging to your family and friends and those around you. And then there's this in the base of in this here, which should be flipped upside, should be safety and security of those of yourself and those around you. And that's where we're going wrong with with the the problems that's going on in the world, because everyone's sitting up here going me in a lot of subjects. uh I'm a this or I'm a that. We own the world, or we do this or we do that, as if to say it's more than just themselves, when it should actually be us as the human race, not just we in a country or a particular part of the world that there's been missold PPI, if you want to say, or missold an ideology. Let me get this very clear. When I say missold an ideology, no matter what the ideology is, they all teach the same thing. They all teach about love and belonging and caring about those around you. And we are not doing that. What's happening is the ones who offer us the safety and security are pulling that from us and selling it back to us to make us think and learn the wrong concept, the wrong ideologies, that we're not together. We have to be divided. And that's where we have to be divided to be conquered. We're not when it comes to the only thing I can see is we're not divided when it comes to the internet, and that's what they're going for next. Did I keep this on this page, or does it jump the next page as well? Oh, put that down there. Does it go over here? No, it doesn't show me it. It's going to show me this page, is it? I thought it was showing all the pages. Oh, that does change. And that all came from Win Chile. That's the other thing. Listen to other people's experiences. See if you can take other people's experiences. That's what I've always tried to do. He's trying to point out things that he's tried to show, and we're not listening. We'll get some Anthem in here. Or some Warframe. Yep. Feel a bit lost now because of went around. I'll put the list here of these people that I have. Looked up. If anybody's there that wants to look at these people. I've always put Michael Tyson down. Who else? Alex Jones is another good one. There's another one that was one of the astronauts for the moon landing. I can't remember. There was a documentary about him, and he kept all his information for years about things that he discovered. But then he was the only closest person to him. I think it was his nephew. So he never had any other family, I think. And his nephew was interested. He was because they were close. He left the information to him, all his documentation and all. But I can't remember who it is. I can't remember his name. Astronaut of some sort. I think he's came up in this. Brian Carson, is he? Oh, is that him there? Where was I? No. I was seeing him there. Oh, I put Brian. It's Billy Carson. Brian. I put Brian. Brian. Billy Carson. His name right. I knew I got something wrong. He has music and all as well. He does music. It's supposed to be on the 453 hertz or something like that. I don't remember what it is. Where is watch Graham Hancock was another really good one. He's really good. And Terence McKenna. What was the other one? Graham Hancock. He's an old one. And there was another guy. What was that doctor? He's really good as well. Used to be a doctor. Oh. He was the one that said about love, I think it was it? The frequency of love. Gotta turn itself off there. I don't know if we'll be playing any other ones with the 360. But I definitely want Warframe or something out of the way. There's one of them there, I think it is. It's about changing the water. They're all shapes of water. Sacred geometry, it's called. I can't find him. Is this him here? That's a really good one too. Dr. Peter Guy Manners. Very good video. That's by Video Advice as well. Very good. Right, I'm gonna leave it. I've had enough. Talked enough shite. It gets you nowhere. There's all the names. Look them up if anybody's interested, if anybody's listening. All these people have spent their life work doing this stuff. These people don't fuck about. Graham Hancock is an archaeologist in forbidden archaeology. Terence McKenna has spent his life as I think he's a doctor as well, or a chemist. Billy Carson does, I think he does history on human race, or just general history. John Maxwell does, he did the study of the economy. I think he was an economist or something. David Icke, obviously, as a presenter, and spent his life going against the tide. Again, you can think of whatever way you want with him. Dr. Stephen Greer, again, a well, what do you call it? A well venerated, whatever. Again, he's a doctorate in the study of sciences. And then there's Alex Jones, media journalist. They make money. They do what they do. But the like David Icke or John Maxwell or Billy Carson it's not exactly easy for them. Even Terence McKenna and Graham Hancock. It's not easy for these people. And as I say, I like to take it from their experience. They're not playing. This life that we're in is not a game. And you make your choices whatever way you want. And it can all change if we don't set up, not wake up, just sit up and pay attention. Have I been disconnected? Or is the audio still working? It's the signal. They all have great work, and I said Michael Tyerson as well. Good luck. Have fun. I hope there was something in the stream. We completed the game, Fear, and the next ones I'll be adding these onto my rank one global profile. I actually want to play Anthem now. The other one I've got is Fireteam Elite, Aliens Fireteam Elite. I forgot about that. I'll have a wee go on Warframe, and then I'll move over to Anthem. See what's on after I update this here global rank one global profile. Okay.